Welcome back to our video tutorial series where we are learning how to create Minecraft worlds using Python code. In this lesson we are going to be looking at expanding on what we did in the previous tutorial where we built a basic looking tower, and we're going to be making something that looks like this, so an advanced tower. So we've used multiple colors in our design. We've also added windows to it. Alright, so let's get started on creating this advanced tower now. I'll just jump back down to earth here and head on over to my Python editor. Now I'm not going to explain these first few lines of code here, I just want you to write them in. We do it every lesson, you're probably getting sick of hearing me try to explain them, so add in your first two lines of code there like always, and then add in your next few lines of code that will clear the world off and give us an empty canvas each time we run the code. Once we've got those in, you're ready to start building this tower. So the first thing I want to do today is create some variables that contain the block IDs of my building blocks. So I'm going to put in a comment that says building blocks, and I'm going to start with the base. The base of my tower today, so this darker section, is going to be a block called obsidian, and that is number 49 in our block ID list down here. So the base is equal to 49, and that's obsidian. I might put a comment in there just to explain what's going on with the block. The mid section is going to be what we used before, number 1. Stone. We've used that in the previous tutorial. That's just a block we use quite a bit. And then the spire, which is that top pointy section on top of the tower, that's going to be equal to number 112, which is known as nether brick. It's kind of a darkish reddy brown kind of color. Another object that we're going to be using today, it's not just these materials, it's the windows that we need to use as well. And number 20 in our block ID list is glass. So I'm going to write in 20 for the window and just put a comment there to tell the computer that that is glass. Alright, once we've got our building blocks in, we can set up our starting coordinates. So I'll put in a comment that just says set the coordinates, and it's just going to be x, y and z being equal to 0 again. I've been doing this quite a bit lately to start my programs off. By setting those coordinates to 0, that's just starting our build smack bang in the middle of the page. So it's quite easy to find in our Minecraft world. Now that you've got that all set, we are ready to start building. So now would be a good time to save it as number 12, Advanced Tower. Just give it a run to make sure you do get an empty world. So you have that clear canvas and no errors with your code. If you've got that far, you're ready to go and start building this tower. So the code we're going to use now is pretty similar to what we used in the previous video, so this will be nothing new to you. We're going to start with the base of the tower. So the base is going to start with mc.setBlocks. Remember, we're building multiple blocks here, so we use the setBlocks function. And we're going to start at x, y and z for our starting coordinates, and then we're going to finish at x plus 4, y plus 16 and z plus 4. Okay, so we've got a base that is 4 across on the x-axis and 4 across on the z-axis. So it's basically going to be a square that is 4 by 4. And we've got it going 16 blocks up into the air. Oops. So if we just give that a run, actually we're not going to see anything yet because I forgot to tell it which block to build with. So after that 4 there, you just need to put in a comma and tell it that we're going to be using the base block to build with today. So that's that block there, number 49, obsidian. By writing in the variable name base, it knows to put in obsidian. So sorry, we'll run that again. And if we swing around to 0, 0, there it is there. We've got our obsidian base. All right, it's just a big rectangular prism at the moment. Next thing we're going to put in is the midsection. I'm going to do this slightly different to what I did in the previous video tutorial. I'm going to write mc.setBlocks again. And this time we're going to be x plus 1. And we're going to start building from the top of this obsidian block. So it's going to be y plus 16 as our starting point. And then z plus 1. Our finishing points are going to be x plus 3. Oops. Y plus 19, so it's basically going to be 3 blocks high, starting at 16 blocks in the air and then going up another 3, and then Z plus 3. The block we're going to build with is called mid. Remember, we created a variable up here called mid, and that was equal to number 1, which is the stone block. So if we give that a run, you should see just off in the distance a midsection appear. There it is there. We've got the midsection appearing in our tower. So that's the stone block. Final section is the spire, which is the little pokey bit that comes out the top of the tower here. So I'll just go for a quick fly over here. You see the midsection, and what we want is the little spire that appears out the top of the tower. So back to our code, we'll put in a comment that says Spire and use the mc.setBlocks function again. The code's going to be x plus 2 to start our x-axis on. We're going to start at y plus 19, so we're actually starting up on top of this grey section. And it'll be z plus 2 as well. Now x and our z-axis remain the same here, so it's just going to be x plus 2 to finish off with. Y, however, is going to go up to 21, so just a little bit higher in the air. Finish that x off, so that z off, sorry. And the block we're going to be using is the nether brick, which is set under the spire variable. So let's write spire in there. Give it a quick run, and we should see a little spire pop out the top of our building. There we go. So that's the start of our advanced building. It's already looking a lot better than our previous tutorial by adding those different colors in. Still the same code, we're just using more materials to give it a better look. Alright, so now we want to add some windows into this building. To add windows, we'll put in a comment that says windows, and we're going to do mc.setBlocks. Now the start position for our windows is going to be x plus 3, y plus 2, so just coming up 2 blocks off ground level, and z plus 4. Finishing position is going to be x plus 1, y plus 3, and z will stay as it is, so just leave z as that. And the block we're going to be building these glass windows with is the window variable block, which is glass. So I'll put window in the bracket there to finish things off. Now this is just going to add one little section of windows towards the bottom of the tower. Okay, so you can just see that that's appeared down the bottom there. If we just go for a stroll down, we can go have a look. Okay, that glass penetrates all the way through the building to the other side. So if you were to smash that glass open, which you can, you can see there'll be more blocks of glass inside, and they go all the way through. The building is not hollowed out. You can do that further down the track if you wanted to, but for now we're just building windows on the outside here, because we're only looking from the outside of the building. So what we want to do now is put more windows in that run all the way up the top of that building. So it's going to be the same code. To save us time, instead of copying and pasting this or writing it out time and time again, what we're going to do is use something called a loop. We've touched on these previously in other tutorials, so let's have a go at writing a loop now. I reckon we'll be able to fit in 1, 2, 3, probably 4 sets of windows into this tower. So I'm going to create a loop that repeats this code 4 times. So I'm going to write for I in range, and then in brackets 4, and I just put a colon at the end. So this line is just saying we're about to repeat some code 4 times, and the code we want to repeat comes in on the next line. Now the code that we want to repeat must be indented. That means pushed across on the left hand edge of the page. So what you're going to have to do is bring this code that you've already written for one block of windows onto the line that's indented. If you don't know how to indent code, just press tab on your keyboard and it will push it across for you to the right. And that indents that code. And that is now saying we need to repeat this line of code 4 times. If we were to repeat that 4 times right now, it's still going to look the same. It's going to have the windows down the bottom here, but that's it. They didn't actually climb up the tower. What we need to do on the next line, still inside of this loop, which means my code is still indented, I need to write y equals y plus 4. So each time we build a block of windows, we then move up the y-axis, which moves us up higher in the building before drawing the next set of windows. Okay, so remember this repeats 4 times. It draws one set of windows, moves up the building, builds another set of windows, moves higher up the building again, runs another set of windows, and it does that 4 times. So if we were to run this code now, you'll see that the windows climb further and further up towards the top of the building. Okay, so that's how you create yourself a better looking tower using some slightly more advanced code in Minecraft. Alright, so I will catch you in the next video tutorial.